So recently, a specific viewer has been asking me for a very specific video, and on several of my videos, he's actually been one of the most liked comments, which tells me that a decent amount of you actually want this as well. So today, I'm putting together what I believe is the ultimate basketball team, not just based on their talent and greatness, but also from the perspective of how well these players would blend together. This is how it works. There's 15 roster spots and I need to pick 3 players for each position. There will be the starters, a second unit, and a third unit, and I'll do my best to explain how these units work together. Also, for those of you who want to take the time, let me know in the comments how you would build your ultimate roster. So without further ado, let's get into it. First off, let's determine who the starters will be. I want a team that works together seamlessly, which means I want ball movement, and I want the best point guard for feeding every superstar teammate that he has. For this reason, I'm taking Magic Johnson as my starting point guard. He's got size, speed, and the crucial ability to make every one of his teammates better. As shooting guard, give me Michael Jordan. He's arguably the greatest scorer in NBA history, and he's probably the greatest defensive two guard as well. Not only will Jordan be a strong presence for post scoring, but with Magic as a backcourt teammate, there will be constant fast break opportunities, and Jordan is as good as anyone in the open court. Envision all the transition connections between James Worthy and Magic Johnson of the Showtime Lakers, but instead replace Worthy with a tongue-wagging Michael Jordan. With Magic and Jordan at the guards, it's extremely important that my small forward can spread the floor and hit three-point shots consistently, specifically in catch-and-shoot situations. For this purpose, I'm starting Larry Bird at small forward. This might sound crazy to some, but Bird was basically a player with no weakness whatsoever. He was 6'9", he could shoot from anywhere on the court with extreme efficiency, he was an all-time great passer, he was an underrated defensive player, and he was one of the greatest rebounders ever at his position. Some will argue that LeBron should be a starter, and although I respect that take, I think James fits better with the players in my second unit, while Bird's catch-and-shoot abilities are incredibly crucial to the chemistry of my starting group. I'm making an exception at the power forward position, and I'm moving Hakeem Olajuwon from his traditional 5th spot to the 4th spot. Hakeem is a player who is certainly a threat in the mid-range, and he has the speed and agility to keep up with perimeter players and stretch 4s. So I certainly think he has the ability to play the 4 extremely well, and thanks to his experience playing alongside of the 7'4" Ralph Sampson, I'm pretty confident Hakeem would have no issues starting alongside of another all-time great big man. Starting at center will be the 7'2" Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The captain had one of the most indefensible shots in NBA history, the skyhook, and we know he works in perfect harmony with my starting point guard, Magic Johnson. With Kareem and Hakeem in the starting unit, this team will bolster the most terrifying interior defense that basketball has ever seen. This interior lineup will also be a very familiar situation for Larry Bird, as he's almost always played with 2 big men down low, in Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish. But now, those 2 bigs will be on another level, with Kareem and Hakeem. As I mentioned, Bird's spacing and shooting will be pivotal for this starting lineup, but Jordan could also be a massive help in that area, depending on which version of Jordan I take. In this case, I'll take 1990 Michael Jordan, who was hitting 37.6% of his three-point shots on a top 10 volume of three-point attempts. I'll take this starting 5 against any other starting 5 that you can come up with. So let's get into the second unit. At point guard, give me Steph Curry, as he's the ultimate floor spacer and the greatest three-point threat. At shooting guard, give me Kobe Bryant. Similar to Michael Jordan, he'll be a lethal two-way threat on the perimeter, and if it's needed, Kobe can operate in a slowed-down offensive attack and go to work from the post. Personally, I would like this version of Kobe to be the 06 version. It was before his knee surgery, so he still had the elite athleticism, but he had also developed his mid-range and perimeter game to be near unstoppable. At small forward is LeBron James. With Curry and Kobe operating as shoot-first guards, I like LeBron starting at the 3, but let's be honest, In this second unit, LeBron will be operating as the main floor general, despite the fact that Curry holds the title of point guard. LeBron will love to find a slashing Kobe Bryant and a spot-up shooting Steph Curry, giving these three players near flawless chemistry for the second unit. For LeBron, I definitely want the 2013 version. That way, his defensive abilities are at their peak, but he also functions as an elite three-point shooter. At power forward, I'll take Kevin Durant, which gives LeBron even more options of shooters on the perimeter. Just picture the 2017 Golden State Warriors, but instead of Draymond operating as the facilitator, it's a prime LeBron James. And instead of Klay Thompson at the 2, it's a prime Kobe Bryant. It just won't be fair at all. And then, at the center position for the second unit, I'll take a prime Shaquille O'Neal. Obviously, Shaq has that built-in chemistry and experience with Kobe, but Shaq also fits in perfectly with this scary second unit. When O'Neal was in his prime, the defense would frequently collapse upon him, as the defense desperately sent multiple defenders in a feeble attempt to slow him down. When the opposing team inevitably collapsed upon Shaq, he would kick it out to his open shooters, like Rick Fox and Derek Fisher. But now, he'll be kicking it out to shooters like Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Talk about an upgrade. Honestly, this second unit is so good that you could argue that they should be the starters instead. But the thing is, the starters are usually the ones who close out the final minutes of the game. And I wouldn't want this second unit out there in the closing minutes, because Shaq's free throw shooting is a liability down the stretch. And if the opposing team wanted to execute a hack-a-Shaq strategy, that could certainly affect the dominating nature of this team. Therefore, I think it's wise to keep this second unit as the second unit. Now let's take a look at the third unit. With my starters and with the backups, I established the identity and the style of my team. So with this third group of players, I'd like to have players who could fill in for injuries and players who could operate as specialists for my specific team's needs. At point guard, give me Gary Payton. With Magic Johnson and with Steph Curry, I don't really have the best defensive presence from the point guard position, but that will not be an issue when the glove is on the court, as he's likely the greatest defensive point guard in NBA history. Not only was Payton also a very capable scorer, but he was also one of the all-time great lob passers, and on this roster, he'll have plenty of weapons to utilize for his alley-oop connections. At shooting guard for the third unit, give me Jerry West. He was also one of the greatest defensive players ever at his position, and West had scoring capabilities that were beyond his time, including solid range from the perimeter. At small forward, give me Scottie Pippen, a dynamic slasher and alley-oop partner for Gary Payton and Magic Johnson, and he'll be an available lockdown perimeter defender whenever the team needs him. At power forward, I'll take Tim Duncan. He's smart, unselfish, and fundamentally sound. Duncan is also a player who is very comfortable playing alongside of another all-time great big, and in this case, beside him will be the ultimate winner. Rounded out with Bill Russell at the center position, and what you have here is the most suffocating and defensively soul-crushing third unit ever. All of these players are capable passers at their positions, and if any starter is struggling with their assignment for any reason, these substitutes will address that issue immediately and adequately. Now I know, some of you have noticed the triggering omission, as I left Wilt Chamberlain off the roster, which seems especially insane coming from me, since I'm usually one of the biggest advocates for Wilt's legacy and greatness. But the thing is, this roster is already extremely loaded with all-time great bigs, and chemistry is imperative for this roster to be the best that it can be. Because of this, I'd rather have the bigs who spent the prime of their careers in a more team-oriented offense. So that concludes my 15-man roster. I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see my starters take on the second unit, and even my third unit could serve as a challenger as well. Obviously, I do not believe my roster is objectively the greatest possible team imaginable, but it's just that in my opinion. Who knows, maybe in a week from now, I'll have a different opinion and change up my roster, but for now, this is what makes the most sense to me. If you have a roster that you believe is better constructed and can beat my team, please do share it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.